Now, as Facebook celebrates its 10th birthday, no one could have predicted the impact it would have on global society. But what does the future hold for the social media network founded in a messy bedroom by an IT student at Harvard University in 2004? Arise News' Jagdeep Chima reports.
It has come a long way since its Harvard University roots, but Facebook is still a big player in the social media landscape, despite strong competition. Over 1 billion users worldwide are happily distracted by it. But it has had its ups and downs over the past decade. Social media hounds are now choosing more visual apps and sites like Tumblr, Instagram or Twitter.
It's too distracting. You know, at first it was a good way to get in contact with my friends, but now it seems like it just distracts me when I need to get work done.
I think early on I was really into sharing stuff about myself and pretty freely, and over the years it's become etiquette to not share so much.
25% of users aged 13 to 17 have quit the site since 2011. This could point towards Facebook's decline.
It's hard to imagine the company failing or faltering, but at the same time, if you think into the future, 20 years, it's hard to imagine that Facebook will still be around and everybody will be doing the same kinds of things.
With trends in social media constantly changing, who knows where the next 10 years could lead? Sophie Powling, Arise News.
Pels is an expert on social media. I mean, why can't Facebook continue? Because the mums and dads are on it and the kids are on it, aren't they?
Yeah, but I don't see any reason why it can't continue.
Yeah.
It's been massively successful in monetising this huge spread of wealth that it has.
Well, has it? I mean, yeah, but I think its critics say that it needs to mine that a bit more, because that's the way ahead, isn't it?
Well, to a certain extent, but making $2.5 billion in profit, pure profit, last year, it's doing pretty well for itself at the moment. Yes, it does have to be aware of the changing markets. There's a lot more competition now than there has been before, but it's also seen off a lot of competition already.
It has, but it's also finessing this kind of mobile app thing, isn't it?
That's right.
That's where the money is to be made.
Mobile technology is certainly taking over, and Twitter are now saying that they're going to start selling through Twitter. Everything's on the handheld rather than back on the desktop.
How valuable is cool? The reason I ask you that is because, I wouldn't, if I was 17, I would not want to use something that my mum and dad were telling all about the fabulous grandchildren and all the rest of it.
Absolutely. How valuable is cool is probably quite valuable, but how valuable is an adult audience?
Right.
The people with the money, and I think 80% of most recent users have been over the ages of 55.
Between you and me, there's a really funny old thing about this. People who use Facebook are incredibly egotistical. These two are on it all the time. Fair. They are. These two are on it all the time.
Not on it all the time. You're not on it because you don't know how it works.
I'm thick, yeah.
But this is the thing. We've used it now. It's been part of life for 10 years. We've been celebrating births, deaths, and well, not necessarily celebrating deaths, but we've been sharing deaths and marriages, births of children. We've been
showing off, basically.
Birthday parties.
So the key, really, it's all about overshare, isn't it? I mean, it's about putting it all out there.
Potentially. But
what's the social impact of that? What impact is that having on a younger generation?
I think there's definitely this move to oversharing, as we say, but put everything out there. There's nothing so much personal anymore. And it's not all been smooth sailing. Like Martin previously, it's not all been smooth sailing for Facebook. There have been lots of problems along the way. And they've got to recognise that. Even this week, they've been in the newspapers being criticised for the neck nominate sort of fad that's gone around everyone. That's aimed primarily at a youth market. They're now recognising that actually we need to be careful about these things. They're not proposing to self-administer these things and to censor it themselves, unless it goes too far. But they need to recognise that there might be a turn-off, and that's what they need to prepare for over the next few years.
Speaking of turn-offs, Michael was talking about mining the data in a slightly more intelligent way.
Yep.
I mean, I looked at my Facebook page today, and there was something about making me thinner, and there were a whole load of things about shoes, and they're very often for people, they'd probably put hair thickening products for me, which would be slightly inappropriate. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
they're not smart, those adverts, and they're irritating and a turn-off.
But they have the technology, they have the ability to make them smarter, and I think what we're going to see over the next few years is the change. This isn't going to be a general advert. It's going to be focused, directed to a particular target market, and the target market is an older generation, perhaps, the ones that have got the disposable income, not necessarily always the children.
Yes, but if they don't look after the kids, they are actually going to grow up and earn money and also pay for these ads. So they have to nurture and keep the young ones as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I suppose over time it could become ancestry.co.uk, where we're looking back and seeing how life used to be. Of course, we are documenting all of these things, family trees, family histories. I think it will have to be preserved, and people, to preserve it, will have to keep using it.
Now, you're an expert on these things. They say it's on the same level, it ranks on the same level as a life-changing event as penicillin. What's your take on that?
I think as a communication tool, undoubtedly, it's up there with email, with SMS messaging. People are communicating. People are using it now. Charities are using it to communicate with both the people who are receiving their funds, the people who need them, whether they be in Russia or in Somalia or wherever they may be. There's definitely a move towards using it for the good, and I think that's got to be a great thing. Is it with penicillin? Well, I don't know how many lives it saved, but hopefully it's not caused too many deaths either.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.